Proverbs chapter 22. Can y'all see it? Amen. Let me look at it too. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, loving favor rather than silver and gold. The rich and the poor have this in common: the Lord is the maker of them all. A prudent man foresees evil and hides himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. By humility and the fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the perverse. He who guards his soul will be far from them. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Amen. My topic today is train your children.
Amen.
Train your children. You may be seated in the name of the Lord. Some of you may wonder why I started at verse 1. And I'm talking about training your children. What does that mean? Well, you'll find, if we go back to the verses, you see this? A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, loving favor rather than silver and gold. Who needs to know this? We need to train our children that a good name is important. You follow that? It's to be chosen rather than great riches, because you can be rich in evil. You can use your riches for divisiveness, to hurt people. But if you got a good name, hello somebody, it's better, because then you're honorable. You want to teach your children to be honorable. And it goes on to say, the rich and poor have this in common: the Lord is the maker of them all. So I don't care where you may be classed, God is above everybody. And without God, there's no you. You got to teach your children who God is and where his place is in the life of everyone. You heard that? Y'all still with me? A prudent man foresees evil and hides himself. What does that mean? A prudent man is one who's cautious. You're not just running up into everything. I'm not a chump because I avoid evil or wickedness or a fight. I'm wise. We had a martial arts teacher who told us that the best self-defense is to run. Y'all heard that? The best self-defense is to run. Why? Because you could get killed in a fight. So you want to save yourself, get out of there. A prudent man foresees evil. Son, don't try to be brave. If you can get out of that, get out of it. Don't be a fool. Y'all heard what they said about the coward. He's the one to come back and tell you that brave one died in the fight. I'm going to stand here. I'm not scared. No, you don't got to be scared. Be wise. Get out of there. I'm going to punch an elephant right in the face and you're going to get stomped. It's not worth it. I don't want nobody to think I'm scared. You don't got to think you're scared. You're just wise enough to get out of there. Live to fight another day. But like it says, but the simple pass on and are punished. Don't be a fool. We got to teach our children what? Because if you train them right, we're going to get there. By humility and the fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. You heard that? Some of us don't like to be humble. Too big-headed. Can't even fit your shirt, your head too big. You ever struggled to put a shirt on? Somebody know what I'm talking about. You ever get stuck on your ears like you? You got to humble yourself. And Jesus made this statement. He said, if you humble yourself, you shall be exalted. Humility don't mean that you are weak. You're just wise enough to know your place. Jesus said when you go into a room, particularly where you got people that have stature, don't go sit in that front row. Or I got a title. You got people that got titles. I got a title. I don't care what my title is. I don't ever go into anybody's church and try to sit in the pulpit. You know why? Because it's not my pulpit. He said you ought to be asked up. I'll sit in the last row. I'll sit in any row. Why? Because it's not my position to exalt myself. If I go to a place, I wait for an invitation, but I don't look for an invitation. I'm just as comfortable anywhere. Why? Because I know who's Lord. Jesus is Lord. So we got to teach our children. Like my kids, they went out to sing, and I never let them look down on anybody who didn't sing as well. Why? Because everybody passes that way. And you're not the only one that can sing. Don't get jealous of anybody who have talent. Stay humble. Because guess what? You get big-headed, you slip, you fall. Guess what? It could be over. Your life may not be over, but your career could be. Y'all don't get that. We got to teach our children the right way. It said thorns and snares are in the way of the perverse. Anybody ever got caught up in a thorn bush? No, but what it says, again, let's do it. Thorns and snares. Thorns and snares, not just thorns. This don't resonate until you get caught up in one. You got to train your children about life. I don't get it. There's another part of this. Do you know that thorns have hooks? They're designed to grab you. Get caught up in the thorn bush and try to pull yourself out. You got to work yourself out. You got to go back the way you went in there. You pull, it snags, and it'll hook in you. Mommy, how do I get out of this? Stop pulling. See, some situation you get in, you got to know how to get out of it. Come on, sir. And if you pull too hard, thorns will break off in your skin. Stop. Keep still. See, You got to teach kids about life. Don't go that way. And if you get caught up in stake still, keep still. Move this way. No, but I'm going deep into the bush. No, you're getting the thorns out. You got to get the thorns out, otherwise you're going to pull the whole bush. And then if you trip, all of you in the bush. I know about thorn bushes. I used to run through them when I was a kid. Oh! You learn. Don't do that. Does it make sense? They say, he who guards his soul will be far from them. You got to teach your kids to avoid things that they don't want to get caught up in. Did y'all hear that? No. If you guard your soul, if your life means something to you, if their life means something to you, you're going to teach them to stay away from that. Stay away from it. So it goes on to say, train up a child in the way he should go. You see the stuff that came before the train up? This is what you got to do for your child. Because if you don't train them, they're going to go away that they won't depart from. Why this child won't change? Because you didn't train them the way they should go. You let them go the way they are going, so now they're caught up and they're stuck in it because you didn't train them the way they should go. You let them go on their own. That's why with my kids, I said, I'm going to tell you the truth, it's not going to change. I don't care how many times you come to me, it's still going to be the same. I'm not changing the righteousness for you. Now, I don't care what you want to do, that's wrong. Well, Dad, you did wrong, and you know it's wrong. There's no wrong that I did that you think is right. I told you it was wrong, so don't you do it. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. I wish somebody told me I did. So you can't use I wish that somebody told me excuse on me because I told you. I didn't say do it because I said so. I said these are the results that you're going to get. If you do that, this is going to happen. If you do this, that's going to happen. If you do it, that's what I'm telling you. Now, when it happened, I told you. Because you don't want to believe me, go ahead now and try it. Go try it for yourself. But I tell you what's going to happen. And now they're in church. Why? Because you got to train them up the way they should go. Now, that's not how they would go all the time, but the way they should go. Now, this is what you should be doing. What else it says? The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. That's why we're talking about money today. The borrower is servant to the lender. Don't you hate those bill collectors? But you owe them something. So, you want to do something that will help you to be financially stable, financially free. This is why we're doing what we're doing. Hello, somebody. But then there's more. See, you won't do this for anybody unless you love them. See, without love, you just try to convict them. You no good so-and-so. No, he don't need that. Because he already know he's a no good so-and-so. Am I telling the truth? Anybody who's done wrong, know they do wrong. But the why they do wrong, you may not know. They may not be feeling good about themselves. They may feel like nothing. But when nothing else would help, love lifted me. So if you got love for your children, you say, I know this kid is hard-headed, but why? Keep going. Watch this. Philia, an affectionate and friendly love. It's not always tough love that somebody needs. You got to be a friend to somebody sometime. There's another one. Storge, unconditional familial love. Do you love your family? People say it, but they don't show it. Hello, somebody. Y'all getting quiet on me now. Don't get quiet. See, when you love, you show it. And you don't show it when they're not hard-headed, because we like kids that are not hard-headed. But you got to love them even in their hard-head state, because that's when they need it the most. You can drive somebody away being mean to them. Oh, you ain't nothing. Why you keep doing that? You, whatever you're going to call them. That's not going to help. That don't help, because they know what they just did. They know what they into. They'll use you as an excuse to go away from you and get deep into their mess. Or they try to find another family that's not a real family. Come on. Agape. You got to have that selfless love, that universal love, that love that God had when he gave us Jesus. Come on, somebody. How many of us are selfless with our love? No, I'm going to do something for you so you can do something for me. Uh-oh. Must have hit a spot. You know how people do, right? I'm doing this for you, for me. We got people that do that tit for tat. Y'all know what tit for tat is, right? Anybody ever watch McGilla Gorilla? You ever seen that episode when he seen that Martian? Let me tell you the story. This is what happened, right? He went out and McGilla left the pet shop and he saw this Martian. And they met and they talked and they dealt with each other in a way. And here's what happened. At the end of the show, McGilla ended up saying this to the Martian. He said, I won't tell on you, or the Martian said this, I won't tell on you if you don't tell on me, because McGilla wasn't supposed to be out. You follow? But he was out. And the Martian said, look, he said, don't tell on me, because I'll get in trouble. He said, I won't tell on you if you won't tell on me. You're trying to figure out where I'm going with this. Well, McGilla got back to the pet shop and Mr. People washed his mouth out with soap because he told him he saw a Martian. He was telling the truth. But he didn't believe him. Sometimes people are in fixes and they tell you the truth and you still wash their mouth out. They went where they wasn't supposed to go. They was doing what they wasn't supposed to do, and they confessed. But the confession seemed so far-fetched that you couldn't love them enough to believe them. So guess what? We teach people to lie. They got to trust you enough to be able to confide in you. You got to love them enough so that they can feel comfortable. Oh, come on, somebody. You got to have that selfless love. Are y'all with me? Y'all heard that, eh? There's more. They call this pragma. It's a love that is seen in many long-term marriages and friendships. It's built on commitment, endurance, companionship, and sharing similar hopes for the future. It's a love that families are built on. Pragma. You get it? Long term. It's really extremely quiet right now. They said this love is seen in many long-term marriages and friendships. This love lasts. It endures the test of time. This love will be a classic. This is the love that families are built on. See, you'll see generational love. Because this what makes that work. Because you love past somebody's ignorance. Love endures all things. I'm going to see you through this. I believe you could come out of this. Although you look hopeless, I still have hope. Because my love is not that weak, but it is strong. I got the love of God. Oh, come on, somebody. See, when you love your family, you love your children, you do what you got to do. I'm going to be here. I've told children who are acting wayward, you may not always want to act like my child, but I'll never stop being your father. You may feel a way about me because you don't understand. Because you don't know what being a parent is, because you're not. When you become a parent, then you will understand the love that a parent has for a child. And you're going to go down in a way, but I'm going to be there to pick you up. You're going to get in trouble. Guess what? But I'll still be there. Why? Because I got this kind of love. It'll endure. When you love them, that's what you do for them. Oh, bless God. And it's not done yet. We got to nurture them. What I say nurturing is, it's the process of caring for and encouraging the growth or development of someone. I'm not going to even deal with the something. But then again, sometimes we call them something. You a thing, aren't you? Yeah. Like on Cousin It, you know? Listen. We got to care about them. You follow? We got to help them develop. How many of us are encouraging? We're not talking about negative reinforcement. Putting them down to try to get them up. You can't put some people down and expect them to get up. That don't work. You ain't no good. You need to be ashamed of yourself. You know, yeah, that works on some people, but not everybody. See, you can't say that to a broken person. You can't say that to somebody who's all they know is hurt and rejection. You got to let them know that there's somebody who truly loves you. And you got to penetrate those layers of rejection and hurt and rejection of hurt and rejection of hurt. They got a lot of scar tissue. You got to talk to God. So before you speak, Lord, bless me to listen. Why does this person keep acting out? And they listen to nothing you say because of the many times that they were hurt and rejected. And some people feel so bad and so low, that's the only thing they know. This is where I can live comfortably. You heard that. Parents, we got to love our children with true love. You follow that? We got to work on helping them grow and develop. What's missing? All children are not the same. Raised in the same household, but are not the same. There's a hierarchy in a home. You got the oldest and the youngest, and those that are in between. They're all different. They should call me the baby of the family because I'm the youngest. I remember I was a grown man. My brother introduced me to somebody. Said, yo, this is my baby brother. The guy said, you don't look like no baby to me. Why am I saying that? Because he still saw me as his baby brother. He didn't see me as a grown man. I was married with children, and he still called me his baby brother. Why am I saying this? Because, see, as the youngest child, I'm the one that left my mom last. So mothers have a tendency to give more attention to the youngest one than the oldest. Sometimes the oldest may think, well, she favors him more. No, that was the baby. The oldest are expected to know better, but they just won't do better because they want the attention too. Husbands go through that with wives and children. Why you spend all that time with the baby? Because it's a baby. You just trying to act like a baby. We are both adults here. This is responsibility. The baby needs me. You don't. And you got that one next to the oldest that said, why don't you treat me like the oldest? Because you don't really act like the oldest. Why are you talking to me like that? Because I can't talk to that one like that. This one will bury his head in the sand. I'm not trying to do that. You won't. You just get mad. Different personalities. But when you love them, you understand them, and you seek. You know what works, because while you will spend the time. See, if you don't spend no time, you just try to use your wolf tickets. You don't do this. If you don't do this, boy, if you don't sit yourself down. But this kid needs to stand up. He needs to learn how to stand up for himself. But you keep sitting him down when my daddy said sit down. You got to give him wisdom. But if you don't spend the love time with them, you heard that, right? You got some fathers that just want to look like they're big. I'm the pappy. You're a child, you need to stay in a child's place. For how long? Because children grow up and they're grown. You still need to be in a child's place. But when you're training a child in the way they should grow and the way they should go, so when those grow up come into play. Get out of grown folks' business. When they're going to learn how to do business? Grown folk business. This is family business. We got our children churching now because this is a family business. I want you to know who Jesus is. I want you to know how to walk right now. So when you become an adult, walking right is easy. If I instill it in them now while they're early, it'll be a cinch, but we got to teach them the right way to go, the proper things to do. Are y'all still with me? You still love me? All right, then I can go on. Let's go ahead. Just in case you didn't love me, I got some protection. What does protect mean? It's any measure taken to guard a thing against damage caused by outside forces. In a nutshell, it's to keep safe from harm or injury. You got to protect your children, especially from you. They said never chastise your child or hit them if you are angry. You chastise them because they may need it, but not because, wow, you're going to hurt them. You also need to know that some kids don't need chastisement. Like you try to chastise them. My oldest and youngest twin daughters, Lena's the older, Kim the youngest. Lena got one spanking. That's it. And her entire life from me. One. Kim got none. They look just alike. But they shared a commonality. I don't need that. I was wise enough to know that they didn't. All I had to do was say something. If my words were enough, why I got to chastise them hard? I don't have to do that. But the other three in the middle. They were hard-headed. And they would test you. But I did this. I said, if you do that again, this is going to happen. If you do that again, this is going. I gave him a warning. I never just said, well, you follow. And they did it again. They said, oh, I'm going to see if it's going to happen. I told you I was going to do this. I told them if they fought, I'm jumping in. If y'all fight each other, I'm jumping in. They had a fight, I jumped in. I wasn't on nobody's side but mine. If I told them I would buy them something, I bought it. If I told them I'd take them somewhere, I'll take them. Whatever I said I was going to do for them or to them, I did. So why did I jump into fights? To stop them from hurting each other. That was a form of protection. They didn't want to fight me, so okay, then we're good. So that was a form of protection. Outside, we were protecting from anything we had to protect them from. I'm going to be frankly honest. God had protected me from myself too. Because there was times when somebody would bother a child. I'm going out, Lord, I know I shouldn't, but so I asked God to forgive me later. But I'm going to do this. But there's many times God used somebody outside to intervene for me so I didn't have to get in trouble. I'm just saying to protection because God knows. Yep. But you got to love your children enough to protect them. And when I say from you too, you got to be careful not to abuse them. Verbally abusive. Because that's one of the worst things you could do to your child. Why? Because you're the one they're looking up to. If you call them stupid, dumb, all kind of ugly words, it's coming from a person of authority in their life. You never know when they may be appealing to you and crying to you and trying to get to you, and you cut them down. Yeah, they may have just done something wrong, but you stepping on them. They're not bugs. They're lives that are entrusted to you. You heard that? I look at my grandchildren, I love them just as much as my biological children and all the other children that God has given me. Glory, you heard what I just said. Because it's not just biological children that God has given me. I love them all. Y'all not hearing that. This is for the children. All that God has given me. Yep. What are we going to do about that? You got to get off your high horse. You got to come down. You got to find out what they're doing. Let me tell you a story about the youngest grandson I got. He watches TV. You heard that, right? You heard what I just said? He watches TV. Listen, he's 7 months, and he watches TV. And he doesn't watch it like a child playing with colors. He watches the show. He knows the elements of the show. I'll tell you how I know it. I try them out. And if I say regular words, he didn't listen to me. But I counted like the show counted, and he looked at me. I sang the song that they sang, the same pitch, the same number order. He looked at me. When I counted one, I said, because he said, you're doing what that is doing, so I can listen to you. But you're not going to take my mind off this thing because this thing is educating. You got to understand who you are dealing with. So I watch him to understand him. If you don't understand your kids, you can't help them. And their behavior can't be about you. Y'all heard what I just said. I want you to sit down because I don't feel like watching you. I want you to act right so I feel all right. Well, maybe you were the catalyst that got them on the wrong track. You ever think about you being the cause? Why they acting like that in the first place? What, you want your kids to sit down and fold their hands? How will you know what talent they have? If you don't talk to them and allow them to speak freely, how do you know what's in their mind? How do you know where to make an adjustment? I don't want them just to stay in their room. It's dangerous for a child just to stay in their room all by itself without any kind of contact with you. You don't know what kind of stuff they're developing. You want to interact so you know where they are, what they do, how they do, where they want to go, what they want for their life, well, how you can direct them, how you can guide them, how you can help them. You got to be thinking about them. Because if they're a part of you, how can you not think about you? They call the one on the camera young grandpa. It's a grandson. They say he looks like me. They call him young grandpa. The light-skinned me and the dark-skinned me, him and Jay, they look just alike. Jay just said, I'm just a darker brother. It's okay. So here it goes. I can teach them anything that I know how to do. You follow that? I can teach them anything that I know how to do. If it's sawing wood, if it's hanging a door, if it's sharpening blades, whatever it is, if it's putting things together, I just stop putting it together. Here, y'all put it together. Guess what? They do it. And they're willing. They're great kids. Anything. What am I saying? How do I know that? You got to engage. Got to get involved with them. And your life can't be so important that you can't include them. Because somebody will tell you, you need some time for yourself. Well, what about the kids that can't go and they can't drive? They don't got a checking account. They don't got a bank account. All they got is you, and you need a break. So the question is, why are you so frustrated with them in the first place? If you did some fun things with them like I do. They get kites. I teach them how to fly a kite. Oh, this is a good win right here. Now, your kite not flying because the tail is caught up in this. But it's life. How to fly a kite. How to get airborne. How to take it up higher. You got to let out that string. Come on, so all these things improve their quality of life. Why? Because somebody's taking the time to help them. And guess what they'll do when you help them with everything in life? They will come to you because you never lied to them. Papa, help me fix this because you fix everything. Well, guess what? I'll be there for you. When you got trouble, guess where you're going to come? Why? Because you know you can come to me. So you got to be there. It got to be that important to you. Who else is that important? Than the lives that God allowed to come through you. You don't hear that. Who's more important than the life? Before the foundation of the earth, God said these are going to come through you, and they're meaningless. No, God, I'm going to bless who you entrusted to me. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to give them all I got. Because you allowed me to gain and accumulate this knowledge. What about this aggregation of knowledge? I'm going to keep it to myself. What? No, I'm going to spit it out on everybody. Here. So now there are priorities. Because otherwise, why would God let me have them? Why would he place them in my life? Why am I here anyway? What's my purpose on earth? Just to stand here and look like grandpa with gray hair? No. They're of vital importance. They got to go on when I leave. So if I don't give them everything I got now, where are they going to end up? You got to take care of your children. Train your children. I don't got time. Find time. Cut something else out. There's nothing that's that important in your life that you can't take care of your kids. Figure it out. That's why he gave us minds. Get a calculator. Get up early in the morning. Do what you got to do. And don't blame anybody else. I don't care what my wife does. She can't do them like I do. You heard that. Not one of my girls will let me touch their hair. I'll drive around with them. Hey, you know what? I'll fix that right now. Papa. But you ask them, can I fix anything else? They won't let me touch their hair because they know that I don't do hair. That's mama's job. They'll let her braid their hair, comb their hair, straighten their hair, blow dry their hair, wash their hair, but they won't let me touch it. Why? Because everybody got their role in their life. And see, when you teach them right, they know who's who. And they know where to go. One of the granddaughters came up, Mama, you got to come downstairs. There was some bad fruit. I said, nah, don't know. You go with her. Because she called you. She came to you because something was wrong. She threw that away. Said, you eat this. You heard what I just said? You can't leave them on their own. If they come to you for help, you got to be there. That's true love. Y'all not hearing me. Hey, stop. There you go. Make sense? Mama went down there, okay, eat the new cherries. These look bad, don't eat those. But she recognized. And she was not, see, when you mistreat kids, they won't come to you. But if you show them love and give them free access to you, are y'all not hearing that? If you show them love, and allow them free access to you, I'm going to say it again, if you show them love and don't condemn them for coming to you, and allow them freedom. Don't step on them when they're down, but say, look here, what do you need? How can I help you? Guess what? You'll have a loving child. The Bible says foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it far from them. Children act like fools sometimes. Where we live, and I'll share this last one, I'm going to stop. We got deer that come up where we are. Deer have innocent-looking faces. Two of the grandkids, they went out toward the deer. And one, I saw it walking that's a wild animal. You heard what I just said? The deer is a wild animal. What do you mean, Papa? I said they're unpredictable. You don't know what they would do. You follow? When they need to understand things about wild animals, I show them videos. And I got a video, I sent it to their parents. Showed this to all my grands. They showed this little kid walking to a deer, and the deer said, plop, knocked him down. Nice looking innocent deer. Didn't frown, Didn't grin. Just said, pow, knocked him down. Children know, don't go that close to a deer. This one may not have done that to you, but the other one may. And they won't show it on their face. You got the bucks. They'll see you. They'll try to stab you. And they won't stop. There was a deer that beat up a hunter. I showed them that. Why? Why do they need to know it? Protection.
Amen.
Don't go over there. Because then I would have to have killed that deer. I'm just saying. Glory to God. You know where we are, right? Protection. So I'm going to protect you so I can keep that deer alive. Y'all heard that, right? So teach your children the right way so you'll stay out of trouble. Because you know if somebody bothers your child, you're going to get in trouble. But if you train them up, you heard that? Y'all still with me? Oh, we bless God. Train your children. God bless you.